Welcome to our 10 minutes craft talk, where we explore the intersections of tradition and innovation in art and culture. I'm the host Megan, and today we're inviting the guest Cynthia to embark in her journey through the memorizing rhythm of Chinese heritage, where Asian traditions find new life in the hands of modern innovators. For today's podcast, we are going to explore the topic of From Past to Present, Nanjing's Yunjin Brocade revival journey. The podcast dives into the rich heritage of this revered Chinese craft recognized by the United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organizations known as UNESCO. Yunjin Brocade embodies centuries of traditions and artistry. We explore the timeless craft's cultural significance and the efforts to preserve it for generations to come, as well as its revival in the present day. Before starting, let me ask a quick question. What is Nanjing Yunjin Brocade?
Chinese craft techniques, and is also included in the 2009 representative list of the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. You know, the stunning craft traditions first caught my attention when I visited the Yunjin Brocade Museum in Nanjing, China. I was amazed by the gigantic loom. It literally looked like a two-story mansion. The wooden loom used to make Yunjin brocade is around 5.6 meters long, 1.4 meters wide, and 4 meters tall. The crafter sitting on top of the loom is responsible for lifting the warp thread, while the other crafter sitting on the bottom is in charge of weaving the webbed thread. So the entire loom is like an intricate typing machine.
Wow, I wish I have a chance to visit the museum to see the unique room in person. Do you know what kind of material Yunjin brocades? Are they made of cotton, wool, or linen?
Actually, no. Yunjin brocade was weaved with unique and exotic threads. Nanjing Yunjin brocade were woven from colorful silk, gold, and peacock feather yarns. The skillful crafter turned the silk threads into vibrant colors using dye extracted from natural plants. And they got a bit crafty with working with gold. Gold was hammered into delicate leaves and foils to create shimmery gold threads. And guess what? Even peacock feathers get into the actions, transforming into unique threads.
Gold and peacock feather into a thread? Wow, it looks like these craftsmen were the original masters of creativity, weaving magic into their creations like no others. I know Nanjing used to be a capital of six Asian dynasty. I want to hear about tale of Yunjin brocade.
So picture this, it all began with the glazy gold-wefted brocade of the Yuan dynasty. By the time the Ming dynasty rolled around, they were getting fancy with a little something called the Zhuanghua weaving technique. The root of Yunjin brocade stretched back to the Dongchang Brocade Bureau, established by the empire of the Eastern Jin dynasty. Fast forward to Kublai Khan setting up shop in Nanjing in 1280. Those brocade weaving looms have been spinning tales of splendor for over 700 years. Originally, they were all about setting up some serious royal vibes to the like of the Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties, decking out the elite in regal costumes.
It looks like Yunjin brocade is the pinnacle of Chinese brocade workmanship. It's really symbolized Chinese greatest accomplishments in sleek weaving and marks the end of the country's long history of sleek weaving. As we know, Yunjin brocade is known as the precious heritage of Chinese craft. And how and why is Yunjin being preserved and passed down through generations? And it seems like in 1949 there was a challenge. Please tell us more about that.
Sure, this is also a problem that I was worried about. The Yunjin brocade weaving techniques requires high technical skill, and it has a modern problem preserving it. In 1949, the younger generation were losing interest due to the heavy workload and specialized skills required to practice it. So the government took actions and designated Yunjin brocade as one of the first intangible heritage items.
That's also a recognition of tradition, culture, and proactive approach to ensure the future generations has the opportunity to learn and engage in this precious art form. It highlights the government's determinations and preserve this art form for future generations, showing a clear commitment to safeguarding cultural heritage and ensuring its continuations in the future. We talk about what Yunjin is and how it's preserved due to the high complexity of high crafting techniques. I would like to know if Yunjin Brocade has any innovations or approaches.
Absolutely. There have been some interesting innovations developed and created in recent days. Tiger Sniffer the Rose, designed by Li Wei Chen. This design incorporates the patterns and elements of Yunjin brocade into contemporary fashion, indoor fragrance, and stationery. Yunjin culture has lasted for 1,600 years. In addition to Tiger Sniffer the Rose, the Nanjing Yunjin Research Institute has developed more than 200 traditional patterns that creatively combine Yunjin into their work.
It's great to hear that Yunjin pattern and elements can be used in other disciplines and fields of study. Do you know if people are attempting to use Yunjin brocade in fashion design?
Of course, Lawrence Xu, a fashion designer from China, was best known for combining Yunjin fabric with haute couture fashion. However, with the deadline approaching quickly, Xu relies on digital methods provided by the Yunjin Research Institute. The decisions dramatically shortens the production time from a year to 2 months. The applications for Nanjing Yunjin brocade have expanded thanks to advancement in technology. Xu was invited to hold the Yunjin brocade show at Paris Haute Couture Week's Expo.
I know other great examples of how the Yunjin brocade techniques collaborated with foreign cultures. Dutch product designer Maro Karhoff has the desire to fuse Yunjin techniques into her work. So she came over to Nanjing and learned the brocade process in person. She tried to bring her own innovation. Clouds were commonly seen in Dutch paintings, so Karhoff wants to make a combination of Dutch influence, like the cloud pattern with the tradition's Yunjin Baroque technique. Well, it is nice to hear about Chinese and foreign designers' efforts to revive these Asian weaving techniques. It also reminds me that the Yunjin brocade also use modern technology like CAD auxiliary design system and ancillary design tools to produce the pattern.
Yes, the technology involved in the work could beneficially solve the problem of workload and efficiency. I think this is such a creative approach that promotes cross-cultural interactions by preserving traditional craftsmanship and presenting it in an unconventional way.
We have introduced several approaches that individuals or organizations took to revive Yunjin brocade technique. Now we want to ask people who are listening to this podcast to think about discussions based on our experience. Are there other innovative methods or challenges that can be used to create and preserve the Yunjin Baroque technique in the 21st century? Do you think Asian craft traditions like Yunjin brocade should keep their original traditions and process or innovate to follow new generations? Thank you all for listening to our podcast. I hope everyone finds this podcast interesting and informative.